Here we go.
Hey, everybody, welcome back. It's the SCB Steelers Podcast presented by Deck Roofing Incorporated of South Florida. And we are very, very pleased to be part of the Variety Sports Network. And, of course, the show comes to you from the Bradshaw Bourbon Studios. Cheers, everyone out there on this summer day. I hope wherever you are staying cool. Because I know in the Berg it's been hotter than hell, and I know in my little corner of the mitten it's been hot and humid, and it's just this is not good for good. This is not good big people weather. You know, this is where I walk around with like 3 towels all day. I mean, I Ben was saying you go to the mailbox and you're sweating. Yeah, that's me. And as soon as I turn from the mailbox, I start with my towels. You know, so mowing the lawn will be a real treat tomorrow. Welcome in everybody.
Kids to mow the lawn.
No. He's got enough to do. I mowing the lawn is something I thoroughly enjoy doing. A lot of people hate it. I love it.
It's a glorious moment. I mean, you get some time to yourself.
Yes, you do.
Get to put the tudes on.
Yes.
Yeah.
Get a beer before, during,
after.
I'm just saying,
the post-yard work beer is by far the best beer.
It is. It is. It really, really is. It's just one of those glorious things, and maybe that's why I'm looking forward to it.
And yeah.
Scarps?
Oh, yes. No, hells to the yes.
Yeah.
Cheers, everybody.
Yeah. Thanks, everybody, joining us tonight. I see Aaron and Claude and Burners in. Hello, and welcome to those of you that are new to the show. Hopefully you enjoy it. And, well, you will. So let's just leave it at that. And a lot of stuff to talk about. I mean, it's summer, and it's the silly season. It's the dead season. It's the time we're really not supposed to be talking about anything Steelers related, but stuff keeps popping up. How long? I haven't taken the moment to check this out, guys. How long has Hard Knocks been on HBO? I'm going to say close to 15 years.
I was going to say about 15 years. Yeah.
I thought like 20 years. Maybe
maybe Sky. I know it's kind of changed a little. You know, the iterations of it have changed a bit, but anyway, I mean, I think all of us have kind of like, you want to see the Steelers on it, but no, you really don't. We just like our guys to do their thing. We don't need them on TV making stupid comments or somebody saying something or doing something like you see so often in some of these Hard Knocks. And so here we are, and we've avoided it all these years, and so the Steelers will be part of the in-season Hard Knocks. They'll be featured, which I have to admit, it's a pretty cool concept. I think it's going to be great during the divisional game weeks when the Bengals, the Browns, the Ravens, the Steelers will all be on.
That's
and
bullshit.
I'm not a fan of this, but I'm going to embrace it. It's kind of like
first they fucked us on the schedule.
Well,
we didn't do it on purpose. And then they turn around and they pull this bullshit and say, actually, we're going to put a whole division on Hard Knocks, and we think you have the best division in football, so we chose you. No, you fucked us twice.
Yeah,
So technically, I looked it up. Technically, I believe this is the 19th year that Hard Knocks is on.
Okay,
but there was a little hiatus in there. There was a season in like 2001 and 2002, and then it was off for 5 years, and it came back in 2007.
Oh, that's right.
And then there was another year. There was another year without one. I think 2011, because there was the off-season strike, so there wasn't any like off-season workouts to do. And then starting in 2021 was when they started doing like multiples per year, where they'd have one featured off-season team and then one in-season show.
And look, Liev Schreiber's voice is perfect for it. I don't know why, it just fits it, and it does great. And it's fun to watch other teams go through it. But I'm not crazy about it. I'll just say that I'm not crazy about it with my team, but I'll watch. And it will be what it will be. Ben, I know you're not really a big fan of it. Ian, where do you fall?
I don't have HBO, so I haven't really watched a whole lot of it. I mean, I've seen bits and pieces here and there when, you get free HBO.
That's true, though.
Whatever.
Yeah.
It's another way they get you.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
Is.
It's another subscription service that you need now,
yes.
right?
Yeah, NFL
I'm
subscription services.
fairly certain you're going to be able to find a way to stream it for free. I mean,
think so too.
You
Probably.
You always can with these things, always. I mean, not same day, but still.
Yeah.
And Steelers Twitter will be taking those clips and
yes.
So
yeah, I'm not really concerned about watching it versus not watching it. I think, for the other teams, it's a fun little kind of glimpse behind the curtain. But like everything with the NFL, you can't really believe anything that they say, right? That, it used to be, well, if you make the playoffs, then you're exempt from Hard Knocks. But it's like, oh, your whole division, or, 3 out of 4 in your division made the playoffs. So we're just going to put all you guys on. It's like, wait, we were supposed to be exempt from this, And the Steelers had always been, close enough to that threshold that they were never forced on. And you knew, because I think it was you had to miss the playoffs 3 straight years to be eligible to be on.
Yeah.
And the Steelers would miss it like 2 and then make it the 3rd year or something. And
I think it was 2 years.
Or maybe it was 2.
And the Steelers would miss, but then they'd stumble into the postseason, or they would miss 2 and then they wouldn't get selected because there was somebody more interesting.
Yeah. And people are gonna love the glimpse behind the curtain of seeing Tomlin interacting with people.
Absolutely.
Tomlin loves this stuff, but Tomlin's gonna hate it. He hates cameras. He's gonna hate it.
He's gonna run the other way. And then the other thing, and I'm sorry that this was John Harbaugh who said it, but he's like, it's fake. Yeah. You put a microphone and cameras in front of people, and they do not act real.
No, that's very true.
Yeah. It's not the reality of what goes on behind the scenes. It's BS.
Yeah. At some point, real quick, Ian, at some point, I do want to answer Aaron's question. He asks, if you could pick one voice to narrate your life, who would you pick? I actually have an answer for that, and we're going to get back to that, but I want to keep talking about this. It is a good question.
Aaron, way to be, bro.
So, Aaron, don't let me forget. Now, Scarps, you went through
one other point before Ryan goes?
I'm sorry.
Yeah,
go ahead.
so I think with Hard Knocks has been on for a while, but I think with some other shows like The Last Dance and Welcome to Wrexham, and there's those shows that Amazon does, where they follow a team around for a year. I don't remember what they're called. But there was one about
Sunderland.
Arsenal and one about the Sunderland one.
Sunderland Till I Die.
Yep. With more and more shows like that, it's ways for teams to kind of get their brand out there, but B, there's become an increased demand for people to kind of see behind the curtain and see what happens with their favorite teams. So it's not surprising to me that the NFL has gone to, basically this year on Hard Knocks, you've got the Giants, the Bears, and the whole AFC North. I mean, that's 6 out of 32 teams. That's over a quarter of the league that there's going to be HBO crews following around. And that's not even saying the NFL Films crews and everyone else that's going to be around. I think they're just capitalizing on the kind of increased demand for, seeing more of what goes on.
The NFL capitalizing on something stunning. Stunning. Now, Scarps,
I'll let Ryan talk now.
Yeah, I want to get your take, because you said that when you guys were in London, you had a film crew with you.
We on that week leading up to the London game in 2013, we had an NFL Films crew with us. So it wasn't Hard Knocks per se, but
correct,
it was still a film crew, and it was arguably the worst work week of my life because I was fucking glued to these guys, and they could only get certain access. There was shit that absolutely people didn't want to see, and if heading into this is and maybe it's not going to be different. So the Steelers have some control over what can be shown and what can be viewed or what can be filmed and whatnot. And we dealt with that routinely when guys were mic'd up during games. We would go through that process and say, don't use this. You okay to use this, don't use this. But heading into London, we were 0-3, and then eventually we're 0-4. So buttholes were extra tight, and it was just this constant, where are they? Where are they at right now? And so it just became easier to be with them the whole time. So I didn't get any work done that I needed to get done in a normal capacity because I was with these dudes all day.
So would you assume that Bert Loughton and his team have probably made some phone calls to some of the more recent teams that have been on Hard Knocks and say, hi, what did you guys do?
Oh yeah. And Steelers PR does they work tirelessly. It's not an easy job. And they're talking to their colleagues, seeing what works, seeing what didn't, seeing what kind of access. I'm watching this chat. See what kind of access they allowed, what they didn't allow. Which is they're doing their due diligence.
Right.
But and I go back to, and this was circulating on the Twitter sphere this week. At one point, I think it was a couple years ago, someone asked Tomlin about if the league asks you to do Hard Knocks, will you do it? And he was like, asks, and it's like, okay, the Steelers have avoided this for a very, very long time.
Yeah.
And although the NFL Films thing wasn't Hard Knocks, it was a little bit similar. But bottom line, I think in this go round, that was 10 plus years ago when they were doing that. I think in this go round, I don't think the Steelers are going to have a lot of creative control or as much creative control as they did years ago. So, Adam Crowley is a good dude. Greatly enjoyed working with him, and I think Adam does a really good job on the Fan Morning Show. He said that this is going to change a lot of opinions about Mike Tomlin because they're going to peel back the curtain a little bit, and I agree to that to a certain extent. I really do. I agree that people are going to see Mike in a different light. However, I will say this: the Steelers themselves do enough behind the scenes stuff on social.
Right.
Yes.
Where you get to see Tomlin address the group or do this or do that. And I really don't think it's going to be much more than that. And I followed it up with that the best way to change public opinion of you is to win again.
Winning.
But there's that. And let's be honest. When Mike gets up and does his post-game press conferences, actually his Tuesday press conference, if he wasn't such a jackass, and I love Mike Tomlin, but if he wasn't such a dick during his press conferences, things would be a little better. The guy could be a little more friendly.
Absolutely.
Not so condescending.
Absolutely.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. And I've said that even when I worked there, I always, in the back of my mind, I was like, man, like if you let your guard down a little bit, people would think differently of you, especially when you don't win a playoff. I'm just being honest.
I think about that dude and the way
is everything.
The way he interacted with the media, like 2007 through 2011, right? And the way he is now, and it's like, I get it. People grow and they change and they get annoyed by the same fucking stupid ass question that somebody already knows the answer to.
Yes,
and they're just asking it.
That's a good
point. They want to get a soundbite and he's annoyed. I get it. But there's an aspect of that he needs to embrace, in my opinion, in terms of just going, hey, we're all doing the best we can here.
Mm-hmm.
And I know you guys are too. So I'm going to try and cooperate with you to help you do your jobs and kind of leave it at that. You know what I'm saying? Not be so adversarial with them.
Ben, you and I are old enough, obviously, to remember the heyday.
Speak for yourself.
Of the Sables and the great NFL Films productions. Now those weren't like what Hard Knocks is, but
John Facenda?
Oh my God,
the man, myth, the legend.
Yes, but just the sideline audio alone.
Oh my God, that dude was amazing.
It was gold. It was just gold. And I mean, if you want to, and I know they do that. Don't get me wrong. They still do that now and everything, but it's not what it was, is all I'm saying. And, I guess Hard Knocks, and I do agree with Scarps, what you were saying related to what Adam Crowley was saying. It will pull back some curtains on some guys. I don't think there's any doubt. I have often.
And you're also going to have guys. You're going to have guys like Cam. They're going to use this moment.
Absolutely.
Don't steal Casey's thunder.
Sorry, as an entree into a media career, and I love Cam too, but the dude just isn't that compelling. Okay, Ryan Clark is good at what he does.
Yeah, Ryan does a good job.
He does.
But he was that same dude though when he was playing. So
even Fred Jackson. I mean, honestly, even as much as I didn't like him as a player, Mike Mitchell could do it. He could do it if he would just clean up his language a little bit when he was speaking publicly.
Listen to us.
No, I know, but we also drink before we put a mic in front of our face. So the swear words fall out when that happens. We try to keep them in. But Mike Mitchell was a compelling personality type, and he was direct. Mm-hmm. He was real, and you could feel it. With Cam, it seems a little bit rehearsed and contrived, and it probably isn't.
Yeah,
probably is not, but it just feels that way. You know what I mean? Love the dude as a player, though. Love him.
Oh, sure. I mean, Scarps, I know you have one final point, and I'll let you get to it on this topic, but I will throw this in there too. How would this have gone over if Big Ben was still there and they did this?
Oh, yeah. Good question.
And I'm only saying that in the with lack of specifics, because if I were to have said to you the 2010 season, obviously, okay, no, we're not doing that. I just mean maybe 2016, 2017, something like that.
I would say if Ben was still there, he would be wearing 80 pounds of ice, milking every injury known to man, acting like fucking he had just been, in a car accident combat or whatever. And then he would look at the cameras and say, the doctor said they'd never seen an injury like this before. And then a reporter would be like, really? They said that? Like, no, I didn't say that. What are you talking about? No, I always remember this. So like I literally was glued to this camera crew for a week, and all of them were very, very, very nice, and they understood. Yeah. But the producer, and I'm not going to say the names, but the producer was a total dick. Like just like wouldn't take no for an answer. It was just like this constant back and forth. And I remember we didn't go to London till late. Mm-hmm. We were only there for a day, and we got there on a Friday, practiced. It was just this fucking all this stuff.
The Vikings had been there all week, right?
Yes, they had been there all week. And like it was just this like such a hurry.
Steelers ever won an overseas game?
Didn't they beat the Bears that time?
I don't know.
Preseason.
Finish your point.
Anyway.
Sorry.
No,
so they had been there all week.
Yeah. Oh yeah, Vikings were there all week.
Yeah.
And like it was just so frantic and just so like quick, and I remember the night before the game was like the first time we actually got to like relax and chill that Saturday. And, we got to walk around. It was fucking glorious. It was just so cool. And I remember that night, like we had some drinks or whatever. And I got to the,
You had some drinks?
I got to the
Shocked.
10 years ago. And I got to this place, or we were at this place, and I look over and there's the camera guy. And I was like, fuck. I was like, I swear to God, if I see the producer, I'm fucking leaving. Like, because I cannot stand this dude. So I walked over. So I walked over. It was the camera guy and the audio guy. And they just like started laughing. And like they bought me a drink and like we cheersed. And they were like, sorry, we know. And I was like, all good. And at that point, I was a little buzzed. And I was like, that dude's such a dickhead. And like, they just started laughing. They're like, yeah, we know. It was just like, it was one of those moments. It was just one of those like moments where you're just like, you both had a job to do. Both sides had to be pricks about it to get what they needed to get. And it was just, sort of one of the, just a nice moment, to just, it's like, okay.
And it validated your thoughts about the guy too.
But also like, okay, we're in London. We're drunk. We're about to go to Wembley Stadium tomorrow, which has so much history. We're in a country that had so much history. Like, yeah, the producer's a dickhead, but like, this is a pretty cool moment. Like, let's just enjoy it. I don't think Mike Tomlin and the producers of this Hard Knock show are going to be, cheersing over some Permane brothers. But fair enough,
One thing real quick, Scarps, the famous photos of Big Ben in front of Big Ben, were you a part of that scene?
No, that was
Scarps didn't snap those photos?
Okay.
No, those were there were a few trips over there prior to the game.
That's right. You're right.
For PR, for advanced PR. I was not at those ones.
Okay.
But I mean, as corny as it was like pretty cool. And that was the whole point, was because they're still trying to grow the audience. Like you watch these London games and the fucking fans cheer for field goals more than they do touchdowns. like they don't.
He kicked the ball.
Yeah, like I remember it was Blair.
Well, the game is called football. But when do you actually kick
it? Was like
it?
Fucking Blair Walsh. Was Blair Walsh the kicker for the Vikings? Whoever the kicker was for the Vikings, he was warming up and the fans were just fucking screaming every time he made a kick for a warm up.
I get it.
I get it too, but
we call it football, but you throw it with your hands and you hand it off.
Yeah,
with your hand, and occasionally you kick it for a point after or a field goal. But
John is correct about this, by the way.
That is true. John coming with some history.
Yes.
Go ahead.
Kicked their ass twice and bailed them out twice. Yeah, that's actually true, John.
LC.
Though we were, back here, not born yet. So there's that.
Yeah. Scarps, LC. I'm sorry.
No, but when we were there, LC Greenwood died.
Oh,
that's right.
God damn it.
And none of the phones in the stadium worked. So like we were all fucking running up and down like the Wembley stairs trying to get a hold of like the Mr. Rooney's box and shit. It was an experience. It was wild. And then we fucking lost. It was terrible. It was terrible.
Well, that was the 2013 team.
That season. Yeah.
That was one of the worst defenses I can recall.
It was 8-8, wasn't it?
Couple of decades. Yeah, they were 8-8, but I mean, they were 2-6 at the break, remember?
Yep.
And then they finished 8-8. But oh God, they were that fucking defense was terrible.
And then instead of like going back to the hotel and staying one more night, we flew out after the game, which we needed like special clearance for. So not only did we arrive late, we had to leave early. And I remember we got to Heathrow or whatever fucking airport it is.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember that they were picking random people to get like cavity searched or screened, and I got picked. And I remember Lamar Woodley fucking making fun of me, and I was just Lamar, if you're listening, Lamar.
Well, we know Lamar's listening.
I love Lamar. Lamar was my favorite.
Lamar, if you're
making fun of you
listening,
because you got picked for the fucking pat down.
it was a fucking. It was Woodley. It was fucking. Who else? It was Woodley. It was Woodley, and then I think Vince Williams might have been behind them or something. But like, I just remember like literally the guy's like, excuse me, sir, can you come here, please? And I'm like, God damn it! Like, what the hell are they doing? And they're like laughing at me, and I'm just like, I remember, like, you motherfuckers, like, fuck you, like, leave me alone, like. But like, I don't know, like
I
like,
can
it was
just see it too. I can see it.
I was just like, what the fuck? Like, I was like, why are we in a hurry to leave? Like did the Intercontinental not have room for the Pittsburgh Steelers again? Like, what the fuck? Anyway, I talked a lot already. Leave me alone.
Real quick to Charlie, and welcome in, Charlie. To his point, about playing in the Middle East, it's
Who's
coming. Charlie in the chat.
Charlie Y.
Charlie Y. Yeah, he talks about playing a game to make a buck in the Middle East. It's coming.
I mean, the UAE and
yes.
and
Yeah,
Dubai and all the cash that they've got there and the things that they bring in, and the Saudis with the professional golf,
yes,
and the boxing they're doing there. These are gigantic purses they're putting up.
Yeah.
So it wouldn't shock me.
Oh, I'm with you, Charlie. I can't. This is the one reason I can't stand that.
The Steelers are contractually obligated to play 10 home games per year.
Right.
Because of their lease. So it would have to be one of those years where they had a couple of home preseason games.
Right.
And then they had the extra game, the spare game.
Yeah. Well, I've said for a long time, and I still will say it again, that the ideal NFL schedule is 8 home games, 8 away games, and then everybody's 17th game.
100% agree with you.
Yeah. I agree, but it's going to be a moot point because they're going to have 18 games here in the next couple of years. It's coming.
You could do that though, and you could do it in like December, all on one weekend, in like college stadiums.
Yeah, you could do college stadiums. You could do Steelers Eagles in State College. That would be amazing,
right?
Yeah, that
would be huge.
You could do Bengals Browns at the Horseshoe.
Yeah, you could do Bengals Browns at the Horseshoe. I don't know what game you'd play in Michigan.
But
the Bears and the Lions,
Bears, Vikings, Lions,
Middle East, Australia. It'll be soon. They get these Aussie punters. They'll figure it out.
You're right. They'll call it the Jordan Berry Bowl.
The Jordan Berry Bowl.
I mean, shit.
The guy we got now is an Aussie too.
Yeah, he is.
Cam,
guy that looks like Bill Burr.
Johnson.
Cameron Johnson.
But
Bill Burr with some big legs.
Remember they play. I mean, and I don't know why this went away, but the Steelers played the Chargers at the Tokyo Dome in like '97 in preseason.
Yeah, preseason. I remember that. Yeah,
that's right.
And I remember thinking like, wow, that's fucking wild, and like they just stopped doing it.
Yeah.
So for people thinking like they won't do that, bullshit. They've been doing it. It just wasn't.
I do want to get into a little football
preseason
news
pick
here. So with OTAs ending and Najee didn't speak at all, was it just today that Ramondre Stevenson signed his deal?
Yeah.
Got a new deal?
Yes.
And it was 4 years, 36?
Yeah. I mean, this is a dude that's not that good and gets $9 million a year.
Well, I mean, and just the last thing I'll say on it until I turn it over to you guys is that Omar Khan in the media within the last week or something, was again talking about, oh boy, don't just because we didn't give him his 5th year, we'd still like to sign him to a deal and
whatever,
so, but I'll leave it at that. Yeah, Ian, go ahead.
No, I mean, $9 million a year puts him outside the top 5, but it's definitely in the top 10 of running back salaries. And I was kind of surprised by it because he was really good 2 years ago, but was not as good last year. And he's 26 years old already. So
what are you talking about? His last 3 games were outstanding.
Okay.
Ramondre. Talking about Ramondre.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Najee?
Ramondre.
Yeah.
I was talking about Najee.
No, I was talking about Ramondre Stevenson.
Yeah.
Yeah, Yeah,
No,
he's
in 23 he was pretty
Mhm.
good. I mean, in 2023 he had over 1,000 rushing yards plus like nearly 70 catches out of the backfield. Like he was pretty versatile. And then last year, granted he had some injury, but last year, his yards per carry went down by a full yard from 5 yards per carry to 4 yards per carry, and he had like half as many catches. So I mean, the Patriots quarterback situation was a mess,
Yeah,
but
it was a
still,
mess.
I mean, I don't know that, and he was 20. He's 26 this year. So, I mean, paying that much to a guy who's going to be 30 by the end of his contract, and running backs tend to like go off a cliff like after he's 27.
We haven't seen the structure yet. We don't know how
Right.
backloaded this deal is.
Mm-hmm.
So we don't really know whether it truly is a $9 million a year deal, and when the guarantees are up. I mean, it could be 4 years and $100 million, but if the guarantees are paid out year one, who gives a shit? It doesn't.
Yeah,
it's
no,
not
that's
real
fair.
money. It's not real money. It doesn't make any difference. When you look at Tyreek Hill's contract, his last year is bogus. They're not paying that. They're either going to cut him or they're going to extend him and restructure it all, and he's not going to make that money. So, I mean, that's just an example. There are contracts that are thrown out there that may or may not be real. So we'll see with this one.
True.
I agree with what you're saying, Ian, but I can see that guy, given his running style, being productive, but not great.
So
until age 30.
Just so, according to the sources, he got 17 million guaranteed.
Yeah.
Wow.
His cap hit is 3.3. And then he gets some incentives for yards for scrimmage and Pro Bowl and all pros. But I talked a lot already, so I can go last.
Scarps, there's no limit or anything on who talk. You can talk.
Scarps was not new here.
Right. He's got a point.
Right. Well, I think you were making a point.
So
for a while.
So this, I don't want to. It's hard not to make this about Najee Harris without making it about Najee Harris. But so Ramondre Stevenson was a 4th round pick, and Najee was a 1st round pick. Okay. And is this also he has I believe 20 or 30 less starts than Najee. And he also has 350 something touches less than Najee. So what I did was I projected Ramondre Stevenson out to have the same amount of touches as Najee. And if Ramondre had the same amount of touches as Najee, he would have 700 more scrimmage yards, and they would be about equal on touchdowns. Ramondre averages 5 yards per touch. Najee is 4.2. And Ramondre has a better success rate on runs. Now, we talk about money. Do I think he's worth it? I don't know. I can't say that. The Patriots think he does. Thinks he is.
Right.
And I'm going to be honest. And I know, Ben, you hate fantasy football, but as a Ramondre Stevenson owner
because it
last
sucks.
year, I hated the fact every time they would give the ball to Ezekiel Elliott because Ezekiel Elliott is garbage. And if Ramondre actually had the opportunities, he would be a really good player. To me, though, regardless, this is a goodbye to Najee Harris because they're not going to pay him $9 million a year. No. And I don't necessarily think
they basically have already said that because they didn't extend him for the 5th year at 6.7.
Yeah, and I really don't think that with the Patriots 4 for 36. I don't think that's outrageous or anything like that. I think Ramondre is actually a really good running back. I think he's way better than Najee. I think he has better vision. I think he's more dangerous in the pass game. And I think that if he actually was a feature back, he'd be way better than Najee.
I don't think that he's better than Najee. What I do think is this: Najee doesn't, and we've talked about this before on the show. We've been talking about all summer. So we've been talking about this since January, since they hired Arthur Smith.
Right.
He doesn't fit in what Arthur Smith wants to do.
Mm-hmm.
He's not that kind of a back. So, given the fact that he doesn't fit anymore, it's time to consider moving on, and that's fine. He'll go someplace else and he'll be productive.
I'm just throwing this out there. Is it at all possible they trade him?
No.
Okay.
No, because I mean they're going to run the ball.
I'm
not exaggerating. They're going to run the ball
a lot,
400 times this year. I mean, did you see how much Atlanta ran the fucking ball last year?
Yes.
They're going to run the ball a lot.
Yeah.
And you need 2 starters. You need 2 starter capable guys if you're going to run the ball that much.
The only reason I bring that up is simply because of the fact he doesn't fit it. And plus last year. So I was just
but Najee is not a guy, and I know he's lost some weight, and he's, that's the thing we criticized him about all last year, is that he needed to lose some weight, and supposedly he's really skinny, and hopefully he's gotten some burst. When I watched his college film, I thought he had some burst, just didn't have long speed. When he got into the pros, I didn't see that burst anymore so much. So hopefully he's going to get that back, and he'll be productive in an outside zone scheme. I don't know though. Yeah, I believe Jalen Warren will be, and he runs violently. Unfortunately, both of them, given their running styles, they're not for long in this league. They're not going to have real long careers like Jerome Bettis.
No, yeah. Ian, you wanted to make a point.
I did want to bring something up. I have a guest here too.
Hello.
Who's our guest?
Our guest is Naomi.
Hello.
Woke up.
Oh, hello, Naomi.
She's not happy.
Yeah.
But
she's got some red hair.
She does have red hair. Yeah, she is very
nice.
Can you say hi?
Very nice.
No?
Tell her hair is pretty.
She woke up and wandered downstairs. At any rate,
tell her hair is pretty and that we like it.
Your hair is very pretty, dear. And at any rate, the other one I wanted to bring up was, I mean, I think we can all pretty much agree Najee's probably gone, but Jalen Warren is also going to be 26 years old this year, and in the last year of his contract, and has been a much more explosive back.
Yeah.
If he plays well, I mean,
they'll give him
he's
the money.
The guy I would consider bringing back.
They'll give him the money.
Yeah.
They're only going to give one guy the money, and Warren's a better fit in this offense. He'll get the money.
So what's he get?
I would agree. Yeah. Really good question.
I think he's a restricted free agent, isn't he, next year?
I don't know if he's restricted or unrestricted.
I'm almost positive he's restricted.
My guess
next
is it's
year.
restricted.
Yeah.
He's restricted next year, so they'll put the tender out there to reserve his rights, and then they'll negotiate an extension. And I don't know. I mean, they're not going to give him 9, but I won't be surprised if they give him 6 or 7.
I was looking at Tony Pollard's deal at like 7.5 because Pollard was 27 when he signed that deal, and Warren would be 27 next year.
Mm-hmm.
So that's kind of around where I was at with Warren.
Either way, what they're going to give him is life-changing money.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
If he's smart with his money, puts it away, doesn't try and be the baller like AB, he'll be set for life.
I really like John's question, about the Steelers' offensive approach. Will it win a Super Bowl? And he does not have the faith that it will.
Do you guys believe the Steelers' approach is? No, I don't. I think they hired a guy that best fit the personnel that they have on the team right now, and they had to do it because Kenny Pickett sucks, and that was the quarterback that was They were projecting to be their quarterback of the future. And
Yes.
Scarps is smiling.
Well, no,
he knows
I
I'm right.
agree with you.
So-
I think when you go back to the start, that's why he was brought in,
So-
was to, help Kenny Pickett.
So Ramondre and Najee are pretty much the same age. Ramondre is 15 days older,
Okay.
and he has the thing about it is, though, he has 800 less snaps under his belt than Naj. So like he doesn't even get the opportunity that Naj does. And then you look at a guy like Jalen Warren, who's maybe a little bit younger, and Jalen Warren has the least amount of tear. But no, you're absolutely right, Ben. They're going to run the ball a million times this year. And it's also because they don't have a true number 2 wide receiver. And the fact that they're going into this season without a true number 2 wide receiver is more puzzling than Chuck Schumer putting cheese on a raw hamburger.
Hey, what the fuck was that about?
Yeah, I don't like to
Great,
get
too.
political,
What, did
but
they sit
but-
on the counter all afternoon? Like, I'm
right,
like,
right.
Yeah, it was like
but
they
no.
were like brown. It was like somebody
So-
let them
Those
like,
things were
they, like,
grayer
thawed-
than your shirt.
thawed out and got all brown, and they froze them
So-
again or something. It was gross.
So
does that?
so is like I don't know. I got no problem with the Ramondre deal, but I really don't think
Well,
Najee's going to be
I-
back, and
the-
that's probably
the-
going to piss
the-
people
the
off.
thing- Yeah,
but
the thing we're not talking.
I've never
about
been on
here-
the Najee boat. I don't give a shit.
The thing
Try
we're
to stay
not-
on John's question though, because I
Getting back,
know-
I'll go last. Sorry.
yeah,
the thing we're not talking about, and I just want to make one quick point, and I'll
Yeah.
drop it.
We'll go back.
We're not talking about the mileage that was put on Najee's body at Alabama. And this is the knock on a lot of Alabama players when they come
yes,
out,
it is.
is that Saban kicked the shit out of them when they
Mhm.
were college players.
Mm-hmm.
And then they come into the pros and they have already got a lot of mileage on them. You're buying a used car. We bought a used Ferrari.
Yeah. I think that was one of our concerns. I think on draft night we talked about that.
Yeah, we did. And then we talked about the fact that you bought a Ferrari, but you don't have the driveway and the track to run the Ferrari on.
Mm-hmm.
That was because we didn't have an offensive line or the scheme. Just like to put it out there.
Fucking Dan just walks in with that banger.
Ran for adversity.
all right.
What a dick. That's funny though, Dan. Good
For
for
the
you.
people who
Dan,
don't watch
you
the
walk
show
so
on
we can
YouTube,
run.
You got to read the full comment, Mark.
Yeah. Comment from Bozick. Just like to put it out there that it's been 97 days since Kenny Pickett ran from adversity. Way to come in with that first comment.
Coming in hot. Top
And in
row.
running from
Thank you, Dan.
adversity, he actually ran right into a sack and injured himself again.
Oh, yeah. He was running out of the pocket that was a clean pocket
Yes.
to the left.
into
the
into
left.
the arms of the pass rusher. To the left.
I keep going back to John Freak's comment, and I think it's a good one. Can they win a Super Bowl? Of course. Anything's possible. Do I think they will? No.
Fuck no.
You to play
So-
that kind of game, you it's what Mike Tomlin, he wants to win rock fights.
But I
and,
do think
you know,
they can win a playoff game.
I think they
do
can.
think as long as they draw the 3 seed.
Yeah, but they're not. I mean, they're not going to beat a team like a Kansas City who can score.
No,
at will.
fuck no. They're gonna
No.
stop. They're gonna get curb stomped.
We would have to have the greatest time of possession followed by a touchdown every time. It's the only way you can.
And here,
Honestly,
go,
go ahead,
Ian,
Ryan.
Ian, please go.
Are you sure? All right.
Yes.
So honestly, what they need to get to the Super Bowl is what they needed during the Tom Brady era. They need somebody else to play the game of their life against the Chiefs and beat them, and then the Steelers beat them the following week, right? We never beat Brady to get to a Super Bowl. It was always, the Jets beat them, or was it the Broncos beat them the one year,
Yep.
right? That it's like you need somebody else to play the game of their life against that team, and then just suck the next week because they used up everything they had to beat the Chiefs.
They stole the signals from Dick LeBeau. They knew when a blitz was coming. I mean,
They knew everything.
I mean,
Not gonna-
they knew based
Cheap
upon
bastards.
formations because they had they'd watched the film and they'd watched the signals. They knew based upon the signals and the formations what the offensive plays were going to be. They cheat. James Harrison talked about this. He says, we played them in the regular season and they couldn't pick up a blitz to save their lives.
Mm-hmm.
We played them in the playoffs. They picked up every single blitz except for one.
No, I'm
Stark
not going to
difference.
rehash it. I know what
Stark
happened.
difference.
Yep.
He's like, hell yes, they were cheating.
It's
Damn right they were cheating.
Yeah.
But the flip side of this is this. If the Steelers had done some self-scouting and gone, you know what? We're changing all our signals because we're playing the cheating-ass fucking Patriots. That wouldn't have happened because they'd already played them in 2001 and they thought they cheated then.
Why do you think Cowher always kind of dismisses the whole thing?
Because he believes that even if you know the call, you still have to win the play.
Still have to execute, win the play.
Yeah.
Okay.
You still have to win the play. And from his
smart
standpoint,
guy.
he's like, you know what? There wasn't a whole lot of disguise on our defense anyway.
No.
But I'm sorry. If you're defeating every single blitz, every one,
Mm-hmm.
not only do you know a blitz is coming, you know where it's coming from.
Where it's coming from. Yeah. Yeah, go ahead, Ian.
No, it's Ryan.
Or Ryan, I'm sorry.
Yeah, Ryan's
Ian.
got this one.
Yeah, we're all good.
Ryan, Ian, mustache.
I looked away.
Still
Mustache.
dead. And Ben, you're fine. And Ian, you're fine.
Mustache.
The concern I have about this offense is that Arthur Smith, the last 2 years in Atlanta, and I know Steelers Twitter will tell me, well, he wasn't the offensive coordinator. He called the plays. They ran the ball the last 2 years in Atlanta similarly to how the Steelers ran the ball in 2004 and 2005. And those were some really good years for us. That was 20 years ago. Okay. So
The league was different.
the league a year ago in this league is a decade. I'm just being honest. And then you look at how
I agree with you, Ryan.
and then goddamn, Ben, this is wonderful. And then you got these young up and comers that want to make a name for themselves. The Sean McVays, the Matt LaFleur's, right? Green Bay.
Yep,
His
yep,
brother's Mike,
yep.
but his brother Mike's going to get a job soon. And then the Mike McDaniels. You got these young dudes that like you ever watch Sean McVay talk about shit? They'll ask Sean McVay a play from 5 years ago. Like, what call did you make? He's like, hey, it's an X42Y7 bully. But that. I'm like, what the fuck is this guy on? Anyway, but the point
he that dude fucking loves football.
Yeah.
And he's got a photographic memory. Like his
That helps. Yeah.
Yep.
The
And
point
did
is-
you hear him talking about TJ Watt the other day? He was like,
Mhm.
that fucking guy. We made our whole game plan to be, and he's still. I'm like,
Yes.
yeah, well, yeah.
So yes, I believe Mike Tomlin has put better pieces in place coaching wise than he has in previous years. But I will say this: Arthur Smith was absolutely brought in to try to salvage Kenny Pickett's career.
100%.
And Kenny Pickett said, nah, I'm good. Trade me. And
Kenny Pickett
the
said,
fucking
"I'm kind
gall
of
and
a little
audacity of
bitch."
Kenny Pickett to say that is absurd. But he's gone.
And that was 97 days ago.
Yes, 97 days.
Yeah.
Thanks, Dan.
Which is one more day until my favorite band, 98 Degrees. But the point is,
I thought your
point
favorite
is-
band was the Jonas Brothers.
well, I did not name my son after the Jonas Brothers.
Lies.
But yes, I have concerns because do you guys want to know? You guys want to know what my biggest fear of this season is? Can I tell you? Can I share this with you right now?
Please do.
My biggest fear this season, and that's why and Ben, you make fun of me for this, but this is why I'm saying I'm excited within reason. My biggest fear this year is that Russell Wilson sucks so bad that we turn on him, the fans turn on him just as fast as they did Pickett, and that we're sort of Justin Fields is sort of thrusted into that role, and it's not any better. It's not any better, and you know what though? Hey, God forbid we go 4-13 and get a good draft pick. I'm just saying, but there is. I'm a little concerned.
Two things. One, if we finally do have a losing season under Mike Tomlin, I honestly would be like, fucking finally, now we can stop talking about this. And
I was that way 5 years ago.
From my standpoint, that would be the end of it, and I'd be like, okay, cool. Well, at least there's that, right?
Yep.
But what I think is going to happen this year is the usual shit show. The Steelers are going to open up hot first half of the season. It's going to be good. People are going to be going, Super Bowl, it's the greatest thing ever, blah, blah, blah. This team's a juggernaut, can't be stopped. And then they're going to hit the second half of the season where the schedule actually gets difficult, and they're going to start getting thumped. And they're going to come back to reality, and people are going to be going, fuck this guy, fire Tomlin, he sucks. It can't be because the roster is not good enough. It's coaching. It's the coaching. No, it's because this roster it's not done yet. It's not. They need at least one more draft before they're a competitive team, and they're good.
See, comments off, like this, that's Ben's fault right there. That's
my ass. Yeah. I hope you heard that.
Yeah. I'm not in any position yet to say how I feel about the season. I do agree, Scarps. That's one of my big fears. That Wilson will just absolutely suck.
Well, based upon, let's talk about Justin Fields. This is a great segue.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because what we've been hearing through OTAs, I don't know about you guys, but what I heard was he was as advertised, which is great athlete, can throw the ball through a wall.
Mm-hmm.
Accuracy, not good. Ball placement, worse.
Timing, not good.
Timing, poor. Timing, I'm like, okay, well, you know what? It's fucking June. I'm not going to worry about timing yet. Get back to me in August. He can work that out, okay? Because that's just a question of when you pull the trigger, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's fine. As long as you know your receivers and you know where they're going to be, you will throw the ball as soon as they hit their break.
I would argue Tom Brady was one of the absolute best at ball placement. I mean, the absolute best. I mean, the guy.
I would vote Ian.
Thanks. I appreciate it.
Testicles. I'm talking about footballs.
Oh, I'm crying. That was funny.
Brady's got 4, doesn't he? I don't.
6 rings, 4 kids. Ian got no rings, 6 kids.
I've got one ring. Hold on,
my bad. My bad.
Yeah.
He's no Cromartie, but
no. My Cromartie index is very high.
I'm fucking crying.
Ryan, you know about the Cromartie index, right?
Yeah, because Cromartie had 12 kids.
There's an actual formula.
Oh Jesus, I did not know
It's
this.
children plus baby mamas divided by your Wonderlic score.
Oh my God, that's fucking awesome. Seriously?
Yes.
It's a thing?
Google it. Yes, it's a thing.
God.
Google it.
I didn't. I knew there was a formula,
God.
but I didn't realize the Wonderlic was involved there.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Oh my God, that's fucking hilarious.
Not gonna lie. No, I was about to make a really inappropriate.
Oh my God! So we need to start like Tyreek Hill. Like I know he had a pretty good Wonderlic. He did.
Yeah. And we need 6, 7 kids.
We need to start keeping track of this.
Oh my God!
What about AB? I know his Wonderlic was terrible.
Yeah,
you need to figure that shit out.
I don't even want to go there with him.
Plus baby mamas divided by your Wonderlic. Oh my God!
Yeah,
who came up with this?
Some idiot on Twitter, I'm sure.
It's been around for a while.
So then, essentially, the your score should be very low.
Yes, very very low is good.
Good,
High
yeah.
is bad.
Yes.
About to say.
Yeah.
Yes. The Steelers wide receiver coach, and his name all of a sudden escapes me.
Zach Azzani.
Zani.
I don't know about you guys, but I'm hearing really good things so far.
Well, I like
psyched.
everything I've seen from him. I like what I've heard. One thing that caught my attention was when of course he was asked the question, which he knew he was going to get, so he was prepared for it. Do you need to get a number 2 wide receiver? And he was talking about, hey, you know what? It's the NFL. We move guys all over the place. Absolutely, it's a legitimate question. And he answered it by saying, look, we move guys all over the field. You're going to see George here. And George did work a lot in the slot at Georgia, and apparently they've moved him in there a little bit during OTAs. But Ben, since you and I are apparently the only 2 left on this program for the time being,
Ian had to get a beer, and I don't know where. But Scarps probably went to take a pee.
Yeah,
Scarps probably had too many White Claws, and they go to your bladder quickly
by the power of White Claw.
My girlfriend tells me if he drinks too many White Claws, she has to pee a lot. So,
oh yeah,
that probably is what it.
And this will be a problem I'll never have, as I've never had one of those.
See, Ian's right back. He went and poured himself a beer and came right back.
By the way, Ian, what do you have in the kegerator right now?
Oh, it's a Fat Tire.
Oh, very nice. Yeah, New Belgium.
Nice, love that.
Yeah.
Yeah, very very good summer beer.
My question, Ben, is do you think that he is just kind of blowing smoke by that answer, and that yes, they're going to find a number 2, or is he really serious about it?
No, he's given us the PR story. He knows that Van Morrison or Jefferson or whatever the fuck his name is his wide receiver 2 right now. I'm sorry that Scarps missed that. I really am.
Yeah, he's probably singing.
I really am. I'm really regretting that Scarps.
We've had a Thin Lizzy already. Now we get a.
Yeah, okay. But he knows he doesn't have a number 2 wide receiver.
Yeah.
But he also knows how the receivers are going to be utilized this year, and we've already talked about the fact that they're going to run the ball 500 times. Okay, probably not 500, but I'm serious.
They're going to run the ball a lot,
at least 400 times. Seriously, in 17 games, though, there will be 400 rushes.
And just real quick, Ben, to add on to what Scarps was saying earlier. About fans turning on Russell, there was a statistic one of you posted, I think, in our chat about the amount of times teams ran the ball when they were behind.
Yeah, I posted it.
Yeah. And
the amount of times that teams ran the ball when they were behind in the second half. And Atlanta was number 1.
Yes.
The Steelers were number 5.
Right.
4 or 5.
I can already hear the bluebirds in the middle of the third
quarter. We ran the ball a lot last year in the second half of the season.
We did.
After they changed the blocking scheme and then fired Matt Canada because he sucked.
Here's the thing about running the ball when you're losing, though. We did the stupid thing of throwing on first down, and it would be an incomplete pass, and then running on 2nd and long to try and set up third and 7.
Yep.
Or third, if we were lucky, 3rd and 7. If we were unlucky, it'd be 3rd and 9. But running on 2nd and long is like the least efficient time to run. You either want to, run on first down, see what happens, or if you get a successful pass play, run on 2nd and short. That's fine. Run on 2nd and 4 and get yourself into 3rd and 1, 3rd and 2 kind of situation.
Agree.
But running on 2nd and long is like the least efficient, and we did it all the damn time.
Yeah, you knew it was coming.
You absolutely knew it was coming.
Because there was a pattern. The Steelers, the Steelers fail. They don't win it down on first down. Well, they're going to run the ball on the second because it's a safe play.
Mm-hmm.
There was no imagination or creativity. And to go back to the point of, can we win a Super Bowl? Can we win a Super Bowl with this offense? I think a lot of offensive play comes down to execution. And yes, you need creativity. You need good play calls, especially in the red zone. But at the end of the day, you need the players that can execute it. And if you have the players that can execute it, and you're calling plays that put players in position to take advantage of their skill sets.
Mhm.
Like, look at a team like Miami. They don't have I'll say true number one receiver that's 6'5" and can just leap over guys. They've got like Tyreek Hill is 5'9" if he's lucky. Jalen Waddle is 160 pounds if he's soaking wet. But
Mhm.
like, those guys are fast and they run them on these crossing routes and put them into position to utilize their best skill set.
What a concept,
And
right?
that's what San Francisco does so well, is that they put guys in positions to succeed and aren't trying to put a square peg in a round hole of being like,
Right.
this is our offense, this is what we need you to run. It's
Right.
this is your skill set, so we're going to design something to work for you. If we can operate an offense like that, yes, we can win a Super Bowl with it. But I don't know if Arthur Smith can do that or not. But I agree it's going to be rock fights. But I think
Mhm.
a 23-17 rock fight is much more preferable. I don't know, whatever. Preferable to a 17-13 or 13-7 or 13-10 rock fight like we've had the last few years. I think we're going to score more points, is what I'm saying. And even if the
I
games
do
are
too.
so
I mean,
close,
when you average 18 points a game, which is roughly what the Steelers have averaged for the last 2 years.
Yeah.
And that includes the last 3 games where they actually scored points because they were, they had a decent offense. Baltimore game aside, they only scored 17, but they still managed to win. You can't get worse. I think if this is a top 15 offense, and this is what I keep coming back to, they can be a pretty decent team. They can finish with a 10-7, maybe if they're lucky 11-6 record, probably 10-7, and go to the playoffs and win a fucking game.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I don't think that they're going to be a contender for the Super Bowl. I don't think that anybody's going to take them seriously for that. And I don't think that – I think that if they win in wild card week, they're going to get trounced the following week when shit gets real. But that's okay, because what it will represent is progress. And I'm not just talking about competitively. I mean, it'll represent the fact that this young offense is evolving and doing enough to actually contribute, as opposed to being an anchor that our defense is dragging around behind them.
Mm-hmm. I mean, it will be interesting if this team plays to its capabilities, both offensively and defensively. But I'm kind of curious to see the looks on the faces of our defensive players if they come off the field after a 3-and-out and actually can drink a Gatorade before having to go right back on the field. It would be nice to see them, the offense, get a few first downs so the defense can actually catch a break.
Yeah, let's convert some third downs this year.
Yeah,
some drives. That'd be
and
nice.
I think a lot of that goes back to what you guys were talking about, incompletion on first down, 2-3 yard run on second down. Now it's third and long and you're screwed, So if he eliminates some of that, then I'm all for it. And obviously things change drastically throughout an NFL season, especially when you get into the playoffs. Injury factor comes in, all that kind of stuff. So
again, I know Ben hates fantasy football, but
because it sucks.
That's fine. But as a guy that is into fantasy football and reality football, I would say that Arthur Smith is so unpredictable that this might be a good thing for him, because they might score, but you don't know where it's coming from, which might give him. He was a good OC. He's just not a good head coach. But we don't have. But we don't have a Derrick Henry. We don't have a Derrick Henry. And, anyway, all right, let's on with the chlorophyll.
Just more like chlorophyll.
What I bore of you.
No, apparently I could not hang with Scarps and Aaron in fantasy football. So therefore, there's a challenge. There will be a league with 3 of us in it this year.
Fucking fine. Let me know.
Ryan left out Culture Club, and Frankie goes to Hollywood.
And dead or alive. Don't forget. Right round.
You spin me right round.
Yes.
Right round, baby. Right round.
Here's a guy.
Who would I want as a narrator? Let me go back to this.
Oh,
Obviously,
Rodney Dangerfield is who Mark wants.
Oh, baby.
Deep down.
You would have been something before electricity. Okay. Everybody
That's the
says
ugliest hat I ever saw. Would you get a free bowl of soup with that?
I tell you,
This is the worst hat I ever
looks
saw.
good on you, though.
go ahead. I want to do.
I could go all night with Rodney Dangerfield.
Go ahead. I want to do a Rodney Dangerfield joke after you.
Narrator. A lot of people talk about like Morgan Freeman, like that. Here's an underrated voice. Not his singing voice, but his speaking voice.
William
David
Shatner.
Coverdale.
Oh.
Have you ever heard David Coverdale talk?
No.
The dude's
No.
voice is amazing.
But
So
I
you
heard
that
wanna-
would
you
be
want-
my guy.
You want your life narrated with an English accent. Really?
I would.
What's wrong with
Why
that?
not? I'm telling you, he's. Oh man.
Man,
Either
I'll tell
that
you
or the
this,
guy from Deadwood, and his name escapes me.
Ian
Give it
Give it
McShane.
the
Ian
Oliphant?
McShane. He's got a great
Ian
voice
McShane.
too.
Ian
Yeah.
McShane, yeah, that's a good call.
Great
That-
voice.
I mean,
I
not for
fucking-
your life, but for someone else's. I agree.
Well, Yeah. For mine, it would be like Kermit the Frog, something like that. Yeah.
What was I saying before?
Rodney Dangerfield.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I
You got
tell
a
you, I
Rodney
don't get a
story?
I tell you, I don't get a respect. I asked my wife the other night, when's the last time we had sex? She said, what year is it? That wasn't a good Rodney, but that was something he would say. Anyway, the guy that would narrate my story, my life, not popular, but sacred to me.
Yeah.
Billy
James-
Crudup. Billy Crudup.
Oh, very underrated.
yeah.
Yeah.
No, that dude's got a great
He
great
does.
voice.
Almost Famous.
Almost Famous.
Is my favorite movie of all time, and I
That
wanted
dude's
to
got a
be
great voice.
Russell Hammond for the longest
That's
time in
right.
my life.
Still water,
And
baby.
He
Malkovich. That's another good one.
Yeah,
That's a good one.
Malkovich is a good one.
Ian's been watching soccer.
Ian has been watching soccer, but also, if you mentioned the British accents, and I was like, oh yeah, Ian Dark. I was watching soccer today, obviously.
Yeah.
But like he's got a solid British accent, but can carry it. I said Keith Jackson earlier in the chat. If we're talking,
Oh,
if we're talking sports
question.
announcers,
Well,
like Keith
Ben-
Jackson's
Ben's
top
point
tier
was
for
spot
me.
on.
Yeah.
Easily the greatest college football. I mean, you just grew up listening to that.
Yeah.
I mean, if you
Yeah.
honestly, if you don't like Keith Jackson calling football games,
Yeah.
you're not actually a football fan.
Yeah.
You're just not. And that's okay. That's okay. No, but the Will Nelly thing, but all of that shit aside,
All of it. Love it.
Like if you didn't like it, you're not really a football, and that's okay. You don't have to be, but that dude was amazing,
awesome.
and he got fired from Monday Night Football. Did you know
Yeah,
that?
he did
Yeah.
actually. Yeah,
He got fired from Monday Night
Yeah.
Football, and they moved him to college games, and he
became
became a
fucking legend.
literal institution
Yeah.
in the college game.
Yep. I mean, when I remember the players talking about it in the '80s, when you saw Keith Jackson show up, you knew it was a big game.
Yeah.
There's no Bill Hill.
You know.
bro.
Do you
Yeah.
remember?
Shut up, Dan.
You probably don't remember, but the because I have this insane memory. The one Keith Jackson call that always sticks with me was, I think it was the '93 Sugar
Was he
Bowl.
criticizing a ref?
No. It was when George
93.
Teague ran down Lamar Thomas from Alabama.
Oh, that's right. The
It was
big
like,
upset,
Teague
Alabama.
runs him down, took the ball. He took the ball away from him. Teague's got the ball. And it was like, this is like the greatest call ever. Like, and it was so much better than it happened to Lamar Thomas, who was a gigantic asshole. And
Yeah.
Thomas caught
That's
this
why
pass.
you really enjoyed it.
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Thomas
let's be
caught
honest.
this
happened to
pass
that
down the
guy.
sideline and was like gone for a touchdown. And the safety from Alabama, George Teague, ran down from behind and just ripped the ball out of his hands. And like Keith Jackson's call on it was just amazing.
I think Freak just admitted he listens to all the Steelers games on the Spanish channel.
Hey,
Well,
those are really exciting too.
those
Uh,
dudes are
they're great.
Yeah.
They get super excited.
I met him last year or 2 years ago, they were on the field. It was
I
awesome.
Can't be critical of that because those dudes,
No.
they get fired up, man. They're good. They're good fans. They are.
Keith Jackson covered college football from the Korean War
Yeah,
to Facebook.
yeah, he did.
Like, think about that shit.
Yeah.
Like, holy shit.
You know who else was underrated? And I loved his
Is it
intros.
announcer?
Yeah, Brent Musburger.
I enjoy Brent. Yeah.
I always loved the
was
way
good.
he would come into a telecast. You are looking live, and of course he'd always find a way to weasel in those wager comments.
Gambling references, yeah.
You know who else?
Touchdown's important to some.
You know who else was really, really good? And I don't want to get political, but before he started having political takes,
Yeah,
Bob Costas was
he
fucking
was phenomenal.
yeah.
'Cause he was
Unbelievable.
so intelligent.
unbelievable. And he could capture your attention for 2 to 2.5 minutes like nobody else.
Baseball historian.
It's unreal. Yeah.
No,
right.
I'm with you, Scarps.
Back
He
to your
was-
regularly scheduled program.
I
So-
also threw out Ron Howard just
What
as
is
an
Costas
Arrested
doing
Development fan, having that random narrator jump into my wife being like,
He's on.
he
Costas
actually
is on.
did not do that.
Costas was doing
I mean,
HBO
other
for a while.
than pissing people off, what is Costas
Yeah,
doing?
he got too political.
He's
He
pissing
was-
people off.
I mean,
Ooh,
don't get
Harry
me wrong.
Callis, that's a good one.
Harry
I don't-
Callis
I
or
don't-
Harry Carey. That'd be a good one.
Carey.
I don't really have any problem with
Hey,
Costas,
everybody.
Costas being Costas, but I just don't know what he's doing now because
I don't
Ryan's
either,
right.
man.
He was really good at
Pittsburgh is hammered on a Thursday night. Like, I'm gonna listen to that later and hate myself for trying to do a Harry Carey.
Actually, what I do is I do Will Ferrell doing Harry Carey.
Yes.
That's typically better, you know. Oh my God, that's funny. Harry Callis. Yeah, he had a great voice in Philly. He really did. As much as Philly sucks, but he did. He had a great voice.
Well, it's not so much that Philly sucks; it's that people from Philly suck.
Ooh.
That basically means Philly sucks.
It's kind of like people from Cleveland. They're
Oh,
by and
see.
large assholes. Not all of them. Some of them. Some
Myron
of them,
Cope was
I
amazing.
assume. Some of them, I assume, are good people.
Ryan, do you remember the Copes Cabana show that was on after the Steelers games where
Yes,
he would
I
just
do.
take calls from people? It was the best thing. And he was hammered out of his mind. Like you could tell he was about 10 whiskeys in.
Dude,
And
that was the worst thing ever.
it
Seriously,
was
you
the
enjoyed that?
best. It was driving home from the Steelers games when I would
Oh,
go to
my
them and turning on the
God.
radio. It was so
That
much
was
fun.
horrible.
Still dad.
Yeah.
Still dad. What else do we have left on the agenda?
We're basically through it. We're an
Okay.
hour and 15 through,
Let's do-
man. We
let's-
can do whatever the hell we want.
Let's do one more. Can we do one more question and then we'll get into Casey?
Justin Fields? No?
Yeah, the other two guys I
I
want to
had
talk about.
Go ahead.
What was
Well,
your question, Ryan? No, ask the question.
Well, Donald Sutherland died today,
I was going to do a super sky point to Donald Sutherland.
and I
Yep.
was just curious what your favorite Donald Sutherland role is. And
To me, and look, I mean, this just shows my age, but a lot of people today have been talking about how, he played the president, of course, on Hunger Games. And I get it, that generation, that's they remember him as.
That was great.
But for me,
What about Animal House? I mean, what
Animal
about the
House is great.
classics? What
Animal
about the
House
classics?
is great. But the Dirty Dozen, he's
Yeah.
really, really good. He
As for-
plays the goofball, and he plays it really well. And I mean, he had a great range. He could do so many different
The
things.
dude was awesome, and his
He
voice was amazing.
Yes.
in
Yeah.
my
JFK was another great one.
Yeah, it
And
was
my-
good.
my old man, we used to throw this on all the time, and I hated the movie at the time, but I love it
Yes,
now.
Dan, you're absolutely correct.
Kelly's
Eye of the
Heroes.
Needle. Yes. Kelly's Heroes. Fuck yeah, that was a great
Kelly's
movie.
Heroes was a great. Telly
was
fucking
so good in that.
Savalas.
And that cast was immaculate. Like, look, like when I was younger watching it, I'd be like, this movie sucks. And then as I look, I was
No.
like, God damn, there's some really good talent in
Yeah.
this movie.
Eastwood,
Yeah.
Savalas, Sutherland. Who was the other guy? Robert, not Robert, Richard. Oh fuck,
Steve, you're
a
right.
famous English
but-
guy, wasn't it?
Rickles was in it. Clint
Yeah.
Eastwood was in it.
Yeah, I'm thinking of a different one.
Harry Dean Stanton.
Who am I thinking
Fucking
of?
killing life.
Who was the guy that was married to
A
Elizabeth
result
Taylor
of
like 12
ADD
times? Richard
and
Burton.
alcohol.
He was in a different Clint Eastwood war movie.
Wasn't Richard Burton married to her twice?
Yes, he was. Yeah. The only other issues Steelers wise I had tonight was Freiermuth obviously having a very, very good OTA, and I think people have to keep that in perspective. It is football in your shorts. I'm not going to get overly excited about it, especially considering that he is entering the final year of his contract.
I think Steelers fans after last offseason should know to temper expectations based upon offseason work. But, I know they won't.
Many don't, Ben, and that's the problem. I think the four of us, and I'll speak very arrogantly, maybe that's not the right word, but
you're so arrogant, Mark. That's why
we've done this long enough to where we know this. And a lot of Steelers fans, they get
We've
so
seen
geeked
this movie
up.
before.
Yeah, we've seen it. We've seen it over and over and over, and we're not gonna. You're right. Last year, when they went 3-0 in the preseason, and people were talking about the damn Super Bowl, and then we come out a home opener for the first time in 7 or 8 years, and San Francisco stepped on us, kicked us in the head. I mean,
bottom
spanking.
Bare bottom spanking.
That could have been 60-3.
Not only that,
It wasn't
not only
Kenny's
that.
fault.
The stark difference between the two offenses. Wide receivers running free. They're schemed open.
Just
here I am. Toss me the ball. Let's play a little pitch and catch.
Yeah. So to your point,
and the worst thing about that was we lost all 4 phases because the fans got our ass kicked in the stadium too, with them starting a "Let's Go Niners" chant in the lower bowl. That was embarrassing.
Are we just to the point now where we have to accept that that's the way the culture is, that people are just selling off tickets?
Won the job in camp.
Yes.
Shut up, Dan.
I don't see too many places, and maybe Green Bay is the exception, but I still see a lot of visiting fans there too.
Yeah, Steelers fans travel well, but there is.
But they don't go to home games.
I'm going to be
There's a point to that though, that we show up better for away games than home games.
But a lot of those people, I don't think travel. I think those are people that live in those areas.
Yeah,
that's exactly
the
what's
Pittsburgh
going
diaspora.
on.
Yeah,
but
the diaspora.
But
ooh, good word.
The Steelers diaspora.
Nobody wants to go to Acrisure Stadium. There's nothing there. There's nothing there. They can put in some club seats. They can put in some concessions.
What about
nobody
the
wants
pools?
to go there?
I know
a pool in like some pools like in Jacksonville where we can hang out in the suite. We have a pool.
You see little Billy pissing his pants the whole time, while he's in the pool. Ben, I know you've sat in Craig's seats a couple times, I think, or at least once. But
yeah,
the UPMC club is awesome. It's great.
Sure.
You're right there. But
we were bougie as fuck. You know who sat there with me? Mr. Bozick, who's in the chat.
Oh, right now. Bozick did, yeah.
Eddie.
No, they're great and it's amazing. But as Craig pointed out when he was on the show a few weeks ago, there's just some real subtle things they could do to make it better. Put some charging ports in there.
Way better. I mean, the stadium. I'm going to be frank. I'm not going to say our stadium sucks. It's fine, but it's fine. And fine is not.
Fine's not good. No,
fine is not good enough anymore in the NFL. I mean, you gotta try and keep up.
The setting is gorgeous,
especially when, and I'll just say it, especially when you're pricing families out of the game day experience. And that is what they are doing now. They're pricing middle-class families out of the game day experience now, which
there's no question.
Which is bullshit because that's their fan base.
Well, but I mean, the sad part of it is that middle-class families are literally putting $1,000 or whatever it is on credit cards that they're going to have to pay off all year long just to go to a damn football game. And you're right, Ben. It shouldn't be that way. But it is, and it's not just football. I mean, all the sports are doing that. You watch the NHL finals. I mean, you see the seats there going $500-600 a pop. I mean, I don't know too many people can afford that.
Yeah, I think it's a little different though. I mean, just and for comparison's sake, like the Penguins have a deal. You can get like a lower level seat with food and any drinks you want, alcohol included, for like $250, and like club box seats, right? Granted, the Penguins have a lot more home games than the Steelers do over the course of a year.
True.
But like $250, my most expensive season ticket this year, just to go sit in section 107 for a game, is like $275. So like to watch them play the Cowboys, and it's the Cowboys game and the home opener. So like just to go to the home opener for one ticket is more than what I could pay to go to a Penguins game and get an all-inclusive experience.
And as a season ticket holder, Ian, and I'm sure you do this, as a lot of other season ticket holders do, is there is a game that oftentimes the away fans are going to want tickets, and you can sell those tickets off and pretty much make enough back to pay for your tickets next year.
Yeah. One of them.
I'm not going to sit here.
Yeah.
I don't talk about other people's money, and so therefore I get it.
Yeah. Well, and I think too, to the point about us traveling, right? There is, I use the word diaspora, but there is, there is that spreading of a lot of people left Pittsburgh when the Mills shut down in the 80s, right?
Absolutely.
There's a large population of ex-Pittsburghers around the country, and people that have raised their families in
a lot of Florida people.
Florida, Arizona, California, wherever else Denver, wherever. People have moved elsewhere. And plus, some of these places are destinations. Like I remember when the NFL was talking about having the Raiders move to Vegas, one of the points was like, yes, we'll get a lot of fans there because everybody wants to go to Vegas, but are they going to be outnumbered with visiting fans because the visiting fans are like, this is our one chance in 4 years to go to Vegas. Let's go and go see a game. Like, and they built a beautiful stadium there for the Raiders, but
gorgeous.
Like, when when the Steelers were there, I think Steelers fans were probably close to 65-70% of that stadium. But it's that experience of like, we're going to go to Vegas and see a Steelers game, or for the fans on the West Coast, whether it's people that move to Seattle to work for Boeing like my uncle did, or whether it's people that move to California or wherever else, like Seattle, San Francisco. Well, and sorry, one other point too on the 49ers, since we're talking about it last year. San Francisco is just stupid fucking expensive for everything, right? The cost of living there is just so high.
The whole state.
The whole state, but the Silicon Valley in particular, and like the stadium's really like Santa Clara, not even San Francisco.
It's not even in San Francisco. Yep.
But I think some of that too, to Ben's point about pricing out middle class families, that like it was cheaper for 49ers fans to buy tickets in Pittsburgh to see their team play than it was to go see them in a home game in Levi Stadium.
Right.
So I remember I walked into the bathroom and there were these two guys in 49ers jerseys, and the one guy was like, "Where are you from?" He's like, "I'm from Montana." "Where are you from?" It's like, "I'm from South Carolina." I'm like, how in the crap did these two guys wind up in Heinz Field or Acrisure Stadium or whatever it is, right? But it's just like, oh, hey, tickets were available and they were cheaper than going to California.
The one group,
and Pittsburgh is a cheap city, which is cool too. And it's not like Airbnbs aren't super expensive.
No.
I have to travel there to go to games.
It's manageable.
Yeah, no, it is. And on top of that, airfare is not bad. Even flying from the West Coast, it's not terrible. So as you put it accurately, it's manageable, which is why people will travel 2 games to Pittsburgh to go to a game. Like my friends and I are talking about going to Vegas this year. A Vegas game is more expensive than going to,
I don't doubt it,
a game in Pittsburgh. I could go to Vegas twice. Excuse me. I could go to Pittsburgh twice for whatever it cost me to go to fucking Vegas. So why would I go to Vegas? Fuck that place.
I want to add before we get
Which
to
I don't
Casey
understand.
here.
'Cause Vegas used to be cheap.
Well, there's one other demographic here, and that's the people roughly Ben and my age that grew up where you loved like the Steelers, the Cowboys, the Dolphins, maybe the Raiders.
Yeah.
And that was it. You know, those were the teams that were good. And I realize I'm kind of only speaking for myself, but I've met plenty of other Steelers fans who that's the same thing. You know, they might have lived in New York or they might have lived in Ohio or something like that. And they're like, man, the Steelers were on TV all the time. That's what I grew up watching. That's why I'm a fan, you know? And so there's that demographic too, that fills seats in away stadiums. Do we have Casey Kasem ready to go here?
You
Let's do it. We're almost at 90 minutes. Jesus.
I can't believe we still have people in the chat talking with us. You guys are amazing.
Love you guys.
You stayed with us this whole time.
Wonderful. Kisses coast to coast, American Top 40. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the week that was June 20th, 1971. Our favorite correspondent, Ryan, is back with us again this week, and he writes, Dear Casey, look at all these rumors. They're surrounding me every day. I just need some time to get away from all these rumors. I can't take it no more, Casey. That's rumors, which went all the way up to number 8 in 1986 from none other than the Timex Social Club. Speaking of the Social Club, I see that the Steelers are doing what they do best, winning on the internets. That's right, Casey. The Steelers don't win playoff games anymore, let alone compete for world championships, but their social media game is what the kids call Litty Lit Lit. Steelers captain Cam Heyward has been very active on social media, even going as far as to reply to every Tom, Dick, and Harry if they question his longevity or his contract numbers. Earlier today, Cam replied to @PickensBetta with, Don't hide, just at me, ya bum. He also quote tweeted Madden NFL 2025 saying, Don't take my podcast too serious, in response to Justin Fields being featured as a kick returner in the Madden 25 trailer. Don't take my podcast too seriously, says the guy that promotes his podcast as much as those public figures on OnlyFans do. He's more desperate than those girls that fart in jars and sell their air biscuits for $250 per bubble.
Air biscuits.
I'm going to do that one more time. He's more desperate than those girls that fart in jars and sell their air biscuits for $250 per bubble on OnlyFans. Cam, if there's one dude in that locker room that knows anything you say or do could turn into a story, it's you. You are literally the last connection to the group that actually won games. Oh, that's right. You've never won anything. Speaking of never won anything, how could we forget TJ Watt saying, nothing I'm not used to, when he didn't win Defensive Player of the Year? Hey, TJ, as the picketologist told me on Twitter, when Kenny threw 2 touchdowns in a 7-game span, cry harder. Speaking of never won anything, part 2, Patrick Queen has been very active on the socials, trolling the Ravens for saying the grass isn't always greener as he watered his lawn.
That was fucking funny, though.
Ian, I'm glad you said that because I'm glad we signed a guy that's 2-3 in the playoffs. He'll fit right in with this group. Casey, it'd be great if the Steelers were more like Minka Fitzpatrick and they took his approach and barely said anything on social. He only speaks when it's necessary, and when he does, people listen. He's not worried about winning the internets. He's not worried about being social media champs. He just wants to be world champs, and he knows it don't come easy. Well, Ryan, keep your feet on the ground and keep reaching for the stars, and keep your dial turned right where it is. Falling down 2 spots this week to number 7, here's Ringo Starr with It Don't Come Easy.
I did not have Air Biscuits on my bingo card tonight.
That was fantastic.
Or OnlyFans, for that matter. Did you guys happen to notice that our numbers creeped up as soon as he started Casey? It's like people just wait and wait. Like, is he doing Casey yet? Is he doing Casey yet?
I'm not paying attention to that shit.
Oh, my God.
Air biscuits in a jar.
That's the off season for you, kids. Thanks so much for being here. We love you guys. The fact that you're still here with us after 90 minutes of this crazy Steelers talk and who the hell knows what else.
Hey, real quick.
Yes.
Casey is satire. So, like, don't get bent out of shape. I don't need Cam. Listen, I know, Cam, you're active on social. I don't need you quote tweeting me like your former number 84 wide receiver who doesn't, who's pissed off
ESPN.
Who's pissed off the Cordero Patterson got his jersey number. But anyway.
Oh, for God's sakes. We'll leave that for next week.
Patterson.
Cordero, sorry, yeah, I can't speak tonight. I had some
Cordero. And I didn't actually realize that was the way you pronounce his name until about 2 weeks ago. I was like, oh, well, I guess I better learn this.
Cordero
Patterson.
Oh, that was Cordero.
Nope.
Apparently.
Patterson. Anyway, have a great night, everybody. Check out the website, steelcityblitz.com. Check us out on our socials and subscribe on YouTube.
Please.
Check the link. Subscribe.
Please subscribe.
400 subscribers. We'd love to get to 500.
Where do you get this kind of entertainment?
You can't.
Like,
you can't get real
where
facts.
else can you? Sure, real facts from drunk
honest
guys.
Opinions.
Well, not we're not looking to wash anybody's balls. Sorry.
No, there's no ball washing here.
I mean,
unless you're Rodney Dangerfield.
Unless you're Scarps.
That was Bill Murray, not Rodney Dangerfield.
I know it was Bill Murray. Yeah,
unless you're Scarps talking about Mason Rudolph, we did not do any ball washing here.
You monkey woman. All right, that's it. We're out. Good night, everybody.
Ravens suck.